What's up, everybody? This is Cap and Kyle, aka Swindlemelons, aka Swindles, Melons.
Dude, I'm just
Now back to
Kyle. Fuck
Kyle.
you.
You had
Fuck
so
you.
many names in a row. Like every single
Oh
time I
my
put in
god.
your Twitter, I'd start with Swindles, and then it's Melons. It just triggers me every single time.
I'm changing it. I'm changing it soon. I just got to get all my socials to be homogenous, and I'm working on a name. I'm working on it.
Kyle and I have wanted to do some content together for a while now. I thought it would be a good idea to start going over some replays with some pros, and so this is kind of the mix of the two. And Kyle was beautifully set up. He actually already had something he wanted to talk about. He wanted to talk about Liquid versus Secret Game 1 in the upper bracket finals of DreamLeague.
Yeah.
So you could just we can
Take
see
it
when
away.
you alt tab, by the way.
What do you see?
I mean, we see the the pop up, the potential programs. That you
Oh,
can click
okay,
into.
cool.
Yeah,
Well,
that's all we see.
I should make sure not to show that. I never know what people could discover about me. Are you ready? You
Yeah,
good?
I'm ready. Go for it.
All right, well, to open with, I think Secret outdrafted Liquid in all three games. I think it was most profound in the final game. And honestly, the second was pretty bad too. But this game, I thought was like 70-30, 60-40 Secret. But Liquid played about as good of a mid game as you possibly can. So that's part of the reason I wanted to focus on it, because they exemplify, like, I don't think they do anything, or I'm not going to comment on anything that most Dota captains, most top tier Dota players all already know. But Liquid just has like the best players in the world, and they play like there's a robotic hive mind that's controlling their perspectives, and it's unbelievable to
AKA
me.
Kuro, right?
Yeah, sure. I mean, maybe
this,
I. If,
like that's what I've heard anyways. Is that Kuro is very he's got the iron fist. You listen to me, sort of thing. That's what I've heard.
Yeah, I have no idea. I'd actually like to talk to him about that because it might affect the way like me and my team interact. Because I do believe that you need this one person like making your calls, but there has to be freedom for people to make their own decisions as well. But it could be at a point where everyone is so in tune with what Kuro's strategy is and what his insights are that they're naturally going to make the right decisions, and then all he kind of has to do is say like fight here, fight there. But anyway, I'm gonna put the draft on like 4x just because there isn't really much to talk about. Ogre first picked. Liquid counters with the IO Tiny, which since like 2009 has been an acceptable first two. I think it's probably the highest win rate opener in Dota 2 history. It's still over 70%, even though it's just good for obvious reasons. I like the Lone Druid from Secret. I think it's one of the best IO counters. It was banned by Liquid both following games, and I think that's just a lot of respect for how well Ace played it. In this game, he's going to get a Radiance Midas timing at like 15:30, which is insanely fast. Um, they ban out Tide and IO, kind of standard counters to this combo that also synergize with IO. Liquid goes with Omni Knight. This hero will be banned for the rest of the series. I think this was one of the key heroes in this lineup. And also, Liquid's banning the Viper Brew, of course. Lion, I like the pick a lot. Traditionally very strong against Wisp because you just finger him and the Wisp dies. That happens a couple times in this game. It's also really good synergy with Lone Druid. Ogre gives all of your cores a ton of damage, but you don't really have much control, whereas Lion like gives you all the lockdown you're going to need. It's also really nice, in my opinion, to have a line stun to be used on relocate because you always are able to kind of prevent this aggressive play because if you land the stun, it's just going to be grim for the enemy team.
Mm.
Witch Doctor, standard Kuro hero. I actually was surprised at how well he made this work. I'm just going to keep going fast because the draft really isn't that important. It's all about the gameplay. I like this Medusa pick a lot. Another really strong IO Tiny. Like it honestly counters all of these heroes because you cannot fight into Medusa ult. If Medusa ults, none of these heroes can play Dota anymore.
Right.
So they now have a very first off they have the Ogre, so they have two super carries, tons of control, and an Ogre to buff these super carries.
Okay.
So theoretically, if the game goes 20 minutes and it's even, you can't kill everyone. This was the mistake I thought Secret made in their draft. They moved away from Abaddon as well. I think if this hero is pretty much like anything else, any sort of like space-making team fighter to get them through the mid game for sure, they're going to be in a much better position. I actually had something written down as to what I would have chosen.
Okay, so that I guess kind of leads into my question because it feels like Lone Druid, Dusa, like you're talking about a pretty slow lineup And
Yeah.
with this Abaddon, I mean, you already touched on it, right? No space creator, but like,
Yep.
it wasn't the lineup already like you had to do a lot as the supports in the off lane to buy that much space for Lone Druid and
I
Dusa.
That's why I think what I would have wanted here is a Furion. I think Furion is like the best pick for sure. You have a favorable lane against pretty much any of these heroes. Witch Doctor really can't do much against you once you get 3 trees. Like he just throws a coconut, stuns your creeps, and you don't care. And Io Tiny both have 0 base armor. So no matter where this Furion goes, wherever he TPs into, you're gonna have a lot of impact. And in addition, you never get outlaned. You can either pull creeps or just battle. But there's no way Liquid can shut down a Furion with these heroes. And Fada's game is what really hurts them. And we're going to see that momentarily. I'm going to keep skipping through. I'm going to slow down a lot during the mid game. And feel free to like have me pause or ask any questions you'd like, Cap, any comments, criticisms, concerns. But the early game is kind of stale and slow because there's a Lone Druid, Medusa, Abaddon core on this team. So isn't really much that happens. Quick note on the warding. Liquid puts this where I don't. They do this kind of often. I don't see other teams do this, but it actually makes a lot of sense when you have this like really tanky core like Omni, because he only really dies, and your big threat when you're playing against Lone Druid is the dive. Is Lone Druid like gets level 5, starts pushing this out, and then all of a sudden you have a lion coming in from the side, and you're either dead or you're losing like 2 creep waves as the Lone Druid kills your tower. So I like this ward. Standard build on Tiny. If you play safe lane Tiny, please buy these items. These are the items you want to buy. That is all. Wisp rushing bottle. Kuro's going to block mid.
You want to touch on why they're running safe lane and Tiny Wisp instead of mid?
You can't go mid against Medusa as Io Tiny. You get snaked, and you simply don't do enough damage unless you play flawlessly, and there's going to be an ogre mid. So mid is by far going to be the hardest lane for Liquid. Top is pretty much a wash, and they need to ensure that this bottom lane does well. This lane is lost for Liquid. This lane is lost, but maybe a trade, and bottom has to be won. And that's where I feel like if there's a Furion in the game, like this isn't happening. It's a really nice play though from Matumba Man. Like I really like that they're watching this. You'll see a lot of the pro teams prevent this silly little creep pool, and it's getting to the point where I think we'll see more thought games from your offlaners where now they'll like wait down here and then pull the second wave perhaps, or they'll maybe just lane, who knows. But Lion starts bottom just to help out the Abaddon. They almost get the toss back again. And mid lane, Witch Doctor OD is thoroughly outmatched by Medusa Ogre just because of Ogre things. 9 armor under tower, 5.5 health regen. That's why this hero is first picked.
And there's not really anywhere else for a Witch Doctor to go, right? I mean,
correct.
I don't think he really does anything for top or bottom.
If he's top, he might like zone this guy a bit, but it just doesn't matter that much. It's a Lone Druid. He'll just turn and hit the Witch Doctor.
Yeah.
I'm gonna turn this up. Sorry, I forgot about that. And he actually is gonna move towards bottom, which I think is the right move. You'll see Liquid do this often, where they recognize like the supports always just seem to move in the right places. It's really good. Because once he comes bottom, they kind of remove this Lion's ability to create impact here, and they're actually gonna set up to try and get a first blood. And the real key is that they haven't lost lane control. If they lost lane control here, then the Lion really does his job, but they didn't get a proper creep pull, and now they're going to just go in for the kill. Level 1 Maledict. I don't know if this is a kill otherwise. It's actually not a kill. They kill him when he comes back, but I actually think forcing a TP is better than killing him in this situation, because now there's no one in the lane, and this creep wave is worth like 250 gold and experience, and no one's getting it, so... They also control both bounties.
You told me something about that, like kind of the job as the offlaner. Like it seems like creeps are worth so much more than heroes right now.
Yeah, first blood is usually worth, but especially when you're a hero like Abaddon, this hero has to be ahead to be effective. And when you're like level 2 and behind, like it just feels bad. And Tiny, of all the safe laners in the game, he utilizes level advantages the best. And I really like what Matumba Man did. This is something I haven't seen before. But your toss makes your stun do double damage. So this is actually the most combo damage you can get. So when you synergize it with a spell like Maledict, you have like so much burst damage that you're actually just going to guarantee a kill. And that's actually the reason they're going to land a kill coming up in a second. Easy little combo. There's the Maledict. No TP available because he TP'd earlier. Level 1 Lion doesn't really do anything. We haven't been watching the mid lane, but even though it's a 2-on-1, Miracle being Miracle is actually keeping pace, which is pretty unexpected because this is already an unfavorable matchup for him. They get the first blood bot on Safada.
What do you do really build-wise for an OD versus Dusa? Do you change it at all? Like, do you get the early Arcane Orb ever against the Dusa?
Yep, that's actually what he does. He goes WEEQQ, and
Okay.
that's I think the right item build. You need at least 2 points in your Essence Aura to like be able to realistically use your E enough. Top lane, Mind Control is actually just bodying Ace at the start, but Ace does recover. This matchup's heavily Omni favored until the Lone Druid's higher level, but once he hits 5, like he can kind of pressure the Omni Knight out of lane. Missed this kill, sorry guys, but Fada died again. He pretty much TP'd back in and immediately died. Again, the Maledict level 1, the stun, like it's all coming together. And Liquid really needs these kills, or I think they just straight up lose this game. But they need to dominate this bottom lane. And that's again where I feel like if there's just a Furion down here, I don't think Liquid can do this at all. But
Okay. What about do they really need to be laning so many supports at bottom lane? Like if they're really being contested that much, can't they just secure top lane better for Lone
they
Druid?
could, but you can't actually do anything to Omni Knight at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Missed this kill, so I'm going to rewind for this actually. It's literally just GH being hella greedy, and he just dies.
You don't have to worry about catching all the kills.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
Greedy
pretty
GH,
standard
man.
stuff.
Jesus.
That's like one of a very. I mean, it's a mistake, but it's like one of those timing things. You know, he's a half second late. Otherwise, he just lives and gets the bounty rune. And once again, I really like Matumba's build here. Like getting it's just good. It makes the most sense based on his item build that we'll see in the future. And I also like Kuro placed this ward a few minutes ago when they went up. They were harassing the lion, if you guys remember, and they used that opportunity to place this ward unseen, which is really nice. This is like the best ward you can have as a Radiant safe lane. Scan for the gank. Kuro set up on the side, but you can't really do anything to this Medusa. As you can see, he's starting to pull away from Miracle because he's just a better laner, and he's itemized for just raw damage output. This is something you don't see a lot of subpar mid players do. They'd be buying boots. They'd be thinking about a bottle. Just buy Wraithband and Aquila and Wand. It doesn't matter if you have to run away because you're not ever actually threatened. You just sit there and attack things, and your Ogre's there, your Lion's there, and it also helps with last hitting. He's got nearly 20 damage on the OD at this point, which is obviously the reason for this disparity. Top lane, Bear hit 5, rushing Midas, and even though he was ahead, now it's pretty much even, and Ace will pull even further ahead as the game continues. Nice pull on the side lane here. Good job, Wisp. This is the life of a support right here. You're really proud of yourself for landing shit like that.
Especially the safe lane pull. So much harder nowadays.
Yeah, and just little things like Matumba Man runs over to here, blocks
Grabs
off
a
the
creep
Abaddon.
wave, yeah.
Just little things. If the creep wave goes into here, it kind of screws him because then you're actually just pulling for Dire. A nice tether, a Wisp on Shrine equals 100% full mana for your mid player. Kuro's just sitting mid in the meantime.
All right, what's Secret supposed to be doing at this time? Because it does seem like the lane's going relatively well for Liquid, considering how greedy their lineup is.
Well, both lineups are pretty greedy. I think both teams are probably okay with this, and I don't think either team can really do more to stretch their advantage. You can't influence this lane with either support, and you can't really influence the mid lane with either support because the Witch Doctor will just mirror you. This is what happens. Like, this is exactly what you would expect to have happen in this game. Also, just to rewind, like GH always has a health potion, and it's just insane how strong it is. Like, he's going to be eating a tango, he's got a stick, he's got a wand, and look at this. Like, they're just killing everything, and it's all because of this itemization. And not only is he full health now, but the Tiny is full health. It's all because of the salve and the tangos. He treats these items like core Wisp items whenever he's at this stage. Fuck boots, fuck raindrop, just bottle, stick, HP potion. He'll buy 2 or 3 more throughout the game, and they usually pay off because you're not only healing yourself, you're essentially buying 1 for yourself and 1.5 healing potions for your friend that you're tethering. So it's super value.
So what you're saying about pretty much like if the supports can't have impact in a lane, it just kind of becomes a clusterfuck in one lane, right?
Yeah,
Just kind of
exactly. Yeah, because you can't. It's a Medusa OD matchup. No one's dying. You can't really help anyone CS. You're gonna just end up taking XP away. Lone Druid doesn't want anyone else in his lane because he's level 7 now. He is super strong, and now he's just gonna lane. And how do you stop Omni Knight? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's just farming. He's 1,000 health, 7 armor hero. There's nothing you can do. So Ogre is kind of just a bloodlust bot. He's been stacking Ancients. We haven't commented, but that's kind of what their job is in this game. A nice ward placed here a couple minutes ago, by the way, by Kuro. He waited for nighttime and scanned, and then he went over like this at a point. They also placed this ward, which I also like because they're so far ahead. They kind of know Fata is going to be forced to play defensively. Ace is super good at Lone Druid, just farming this camp while also pressuring this lane, pressuring the Omni Knight. I'm going to switch to net worth. I'm going to just move forwards a little bit. There isn't much to say about this early game. It's, in my eyes, just both teams doing the best with what they can. The IO Tiny was played near flawlessly in my eyes, and I think if you were trying to do something with your team regarding these two heroes, this is a good game to watch, but it's definitely slow for sure. They played it very well. I think all lanes kind of just went as expected. There isn't really much to say. It's just two good teams with heroes that can't really do much.
Okay. You would just want to fast forward through it then?
Yeah, sure. Also, just to note though, even Miracle is just kind of really behind, even more so than you would think. He's like 1K net worth behind the Medusa, and that's going to continue to increase because Medusa has this Bloodlust bot in Puppy, and there's also this Ancient stack that'll actually be a big point of contention later on. I'm gonna just put it to like 2 times because there's some fighting bottom. This is what I like to see. Like this is just really nice because they're pressuring. There's no one that can help. That's like a bonus kill. That kill's there because this ward and because they recognize Ogre was showing mid and they know Fata's a Baden. So he's either going to help save the Lion, but he's never threatening turnaround potential. And you'll see inferior teams or players, maybe they're like farming over here and or just like doing shit that doesn't matter. But you want to kill this tower and you want to pressure this Lion. You don't want to give this guy like a free level 6 under tower. You want to make him afraid. Top is still just Omni Lone Druid. But as you can see, like he's pulling away very quickly on the Lone Druid. It's only 11 CS, but net worth is big. Also, he's picked up a Midas. He did that at about 7 minutes. And he's getting this bounty room. Ace is really good at Lone Druid, guys. Yeah, pretty standard stuff. And again, same deal. I like this. They're just going to kind of play aggressive, maybe scout out some stacks. Can we run mid? We can give it a shot. It's all about just applying pressure. You want to force Secret to do things. So like right there, you force the TP. Chill, don't go too deep, whatever. But it forces this TP. Abaddon's now pressured. He wants to run over. So even though they send 4 middle, it doesn't really matter because the lanes are still equilibrium. No one gained anything from that, and I would argue that Secret lost more just because they had to teleport. Ancient stack from GH on the way back. Matumbaman actually TP's bottom. Also to note, I really like the Aquila pickup. As we noted, neither Tiny nor Io has any armor, so this is like a super important item to have. Even just that 2 armor is a big deal.
Yeah, we're talking about a lot of physical damage coming out between a Dusa and a Lone Druid, and even some Abaddon.
Yeah, he misses that toss there, or I think that's a kill. Might just be a kill anyway. It is. Right. Tiny Dota, guys.
11
Tiny
minutes
Dota.
in, he's still not level 6.
And that's where like I think that's the pick. Like he's 0-4, and I don't really think Fata like necessarily misplayed. You're just a Baden, and you can't. As soon as you die once, he got forced to TP and died. As soon as that happens, his game is over. Yeah. If Iron Talon was still a thing, maybe he recovers, but there's nowhere for him to go. He can't wave clear, and I just want to rewind. Actually, we're at 11:48. I wanted to note, I believe Kuro didn't place this ward, but I'm not sure. Nope, he hides in here and places this. This is super sick. Because he also doesn't show. Watch Kuro. Watch Kuro. So he's aware there's probably a ward somewhere in this area. So by hiding in Roche, he kind of jukes out any ward that's on like this side. So that he might have like run here with the ward. He might have run up here. But he's just waiting in Roche. Literally, you just saw him ping. Like he's just waiting in Roche to ward. And hide the fact that he's placing this. Super high level shit. Really important. It's going to pay off later. Let me actually, yeah. So now we're going back, 11:48. All right. So there's that kill on Fata again. I'm going to scroll forwards. They kill the tower. And again, really important, Matumbaman's like has a blink. He had showed it already, but now they just want to keep playing this area. Something Liquid does very well is they always have the right hero pairings in every lane. So right now, they're farming everywhere. I just missed another kill. Whoops. It's just literally Ogre dying because he dies. And once again, this same ward. You're never going to de-ward this before like 10 minutes into the game. It just doesn't happen. Gives them, I would say, a third kill, actually. A third kill thanks to that ward. And they still keep playing aggressive. This is where the HP potion comes in. So they know they're safe to do this because GH is always able to just heal them to full health. And once again, this pressure not only threatens middle, but it also allows them to control bounty runes, which is really important. And now they just keep pressuring. He realizes this guy is ult. Matumbaman immediately backs away. Really important to do this. Like, again, just pressure. Force the Ogre TP, gain information for your team. Oh, now Ogre can't be up here, which is really important. Wisp dies. He got fingered right here. I can scroll back real fast. It's literally just the App Store here. But they actually don't care. They're forcing so much. They have a nice lead. And this is just buying space for their OD and Omni Knight. And they need to play this aggressive because nobody else on the map can.
Seems like the all this pressure, they can't really stack that other ancient camp either.
Mm-hmm. It's just so nice to control this area. Like, this is the Radiant Triangle. If you can control this, you're winning the game because it's so much map control, and this new pathway to mid means that it's so much more threatened than it used to be. Like, especially if you like cut this tree, all of a sudden you have like 3 different ways to enter the map.
So
or
why
the mid lane.
I can see why that's good, but why isn't it the same effect on the other side of the map? Like, why isn't it better just to control the enemy jungle? Remember that used to be a thing, right? Like, we would always invade jungle and stuff.
It's pretty impossible to do that in this game. Like, I can comment on that momentarily, but it's just the nature of the game. You don't want to play against the lone druid. You want to keep shitting on this Abaddon. And also, just to note, they see this ward is huge. This is going to let them know, like, they're looking to do Ancients. Tiny Io already farmed this Ancient stack. It was tripled. Then they Shrine. They have Relo ready. But they faked the Ancients because they felt that, Liquid was kind of in the area. And they're going to go back and try to do them momentarily. And then in the meantime, of course, Liquid being very efficient, they're still farming. But they're very aware that these Ancients are going to be a point of contention soon. Lone Druid Radiance is very fast coming online. He's about 800 gold away. Bloodlust bot just chilling mid, supports just hanging out. Fata's still in a really rough position in this game. And again, like, if they keep playing this area, it denies this ancient stack and just continues to control these bounty runes. They miss this one, of course, but it's still the pressure. They get vision. They know this rune was taken. They know that rune was taken. They keep the waves pushed. If you look at Radiant Vision, like, just having this wave in, it does so much for you. Top wave is also being pressured at all times of mind control, and they just have all this natural map control just because of where their waves are.
Mm-hmm.
Kill another illusion here. And this is like the part of the game I was really excited to talk about, because from this moment on, I feel like Liquid plays near flawlessly and understands completely like what they need to do to win every fight. You're fighting against 3 big, powerful tools of the enemy. Well, I'll talk about that in a moment. So it's pretty much Liquid sniffs it out. They're going to smoke. They do this pincer maneuver where the OD is not popping on the tower. Very important. He's just chilling, and he's going to pop a drums. They're just fully committing to immediately kill this Medusa before he can get his ult off. Because if he gets his ult off, this fight is no longer possible.
Right.
And they just immediately blow him up. He's the OD factor, use everything. Huge kill. Absolutely enormous kill. And this is just before the Lone Druid's Radiance comes online. Mm-hmm. He's 50 gold away right now. If they had done this 30 seconds later, they might just lose the game here. In the meantime, Liquid continues to push this, and I want to back up real quick because they're so efficient. This smoke serves like 3 purposes. 1, they're going to get this kill on Medusa, but watch what Kuro does immediately after, right? They get the kill, dead. All right, cool. Io Tiny, OD, finish the stack. Omni Knight, push mid, set up for this tower, and Kuro places this sick ward right here unseen because it's still nighttime for 50 seconds. Another, like, this ward will impact the game so much. It's so important to do this. He considers placing another. I think he might place one like right here. Nope, he sees the ogre,
he gets spotted,
doesn't place it. But that's the thing, is now Puppy is like, okay, I saw Witch Doctor here. You're not expecting a ward to have already been placed here.
Right.
Because the mid wave was pushed by mind control, it's like 200 HP lower, and now they can just look to finish. The Radiance is up in a second on Lone Druid. You see the courier right here. This is still Radiant Vision. And because this wave was pushed bottom, like bottom lane literally hasn't been a thing for like 3 minutes.
It's like every single time that kill squad goes out and like ends up, finishing someone's life, like Crow just feels free to go out there and ward really deep.
Mm-hmm. And it's so important that happens. If you don't get the wards off, like you're very upset. So they sniff this out. This is, again, just super aggressive play by the Wisp and the Tiny. It's really important they do this because they want to prevent this death ball from happening. And just a comment, so I'm going to wait till the skirmish ends, but it's just nothing major. If he gets the toss off here, he actually probably kills this bear, but it was just a moment too late. But Liquid's playing against 3 elements that are very difficult for them to fight into. They're playing against the Abaddon ultimate, which would obviously prevent him from dying, and then he's full health and you're screwed. Medusa ultimate, which peels the entire team, and the Lone Druid Bear. You can't really kill one. You need to kill 2, but if you can kill the 1, it opens you up a window where the lone druid has to play differently. They get the mid tower. In the meantime, OD, Omni Knight are already pushing top. And this is the whole concept of hero pairing, where you have your Wisp, Io, and Witch Doctor here. There's no real way to be aggressive from Secret. So as long as Liquid like effectively splits up the map, they can't really fall behind. Like, they needed these kills and this pressure. They're only 2k up because these cores farm so fast, but it's just super important because of all this pressure, they keep Secret in this area. This Radiance push is so late that this tower is already dead. And this is an OD Omni Knight, and down here you have an Abaddon Lone Druid. And like, that's so unbelievably important. I'm actually going to back it up and just demonstrate, like, once again.
Yeah, because I got a couple of questions about that. Like, why did we abandon like the triangle? Like, we took the ancients, we took mid tower and everything. Like, why are the tiny wisps trying to kill the lone druid instead of playing bottom anymore?
Because the game has changed, and this area of the map is now dead. You can't do anything here. You can never push this tower effectively, and at this point, Liquid only wants to predict Secret's movements and mirror them. They're playing top because they know that they want to push on Secret. They want to bring their Medusa, their Lone Druid together and just crush down a lane. And they don't want to take a fight immediately into that. It's always more favorable to fight on the enemy side of the map. It's part of the reason this ward is down versus fighting on your side of the map. Because if you die, let's say you take a team fight here, you trade 3 for 2, you're not getting any pressure, you're not getting any map control, you're not placing any wards. So you're just kind of losing, honestly, even if it's an even trade. But because they predict the movement, Io Tiny can continue to farm. They're actually just going to do like another Ancient stack here. Witch Doctor's just chilling. He's pushing mid lane, and they don't care about this bottom lane at all. It's dead to them. They have a nice ward set up for this eventual fight that kind of sees the Shrine TPs, and OD Omni Knight can just play aggressive here. And it just forces Secret to respond to what Liquid wants them to do. And that's why it's so important, because you don't want them here pushing this tier 2 as like 5 when you're just now getting towards top.
Okay, so you're basically saying like they're getting some sort of like first movers advantage, right? They're taking the step to go to the safe lane first before Secret sets up. Okay.
And this then forces Secret to fight under their own tier 2. And this was like the one mistake Liquid made. So this is big. Liquid, they proc the ultimate, they're immediately backing. They understand we cannot actually win this fight unless it's on better terms. They forced the Abaddon ult, and I'm sure the whole time we can actually switch to his perspective real quick. Matumba Man is just hunting this fucking Abaddon for the rest of the fight.
Because you can't really go on anyone else, right? Like,
you can't go on anyone else. They get the coconut off. This OD dies because he had he astraled himself, unfortunately, but like his force was down. I think he forced out a teammate. He forces out Matumba Man here, I think. Nope, he forces an Omni Knight, which is actually huge, because if Omni dies, then there's no save for anyone else. Astrals himself, unfortunately, the GA went out, otherwise they might be able to save the OD. Greaves were up in 10 seconds, but he's just fucking dead. They get the Abaddon too, which is key, and now they just run the fuck away. They recognize the situation, they've done their job, they force so much damage onto this tower, they're going to lose the Omni Knight, but they don't really care, and this is that same concept of, because Secret had to fight here, they're the ones taking tier 2 pressure. Liquid's tier 2 is still like full health, and they're still aggressively positioned on the map. So they can't do anything to kill this tier 1. Matumba Man immediately goes to hunt and also cut this this wave middle. Again, this ward's still super nice. This is just like damage. Make Medusa annoyed. He's going to be soon. Just making them annoyed, and it's all because they know where they are. They forced Secret to this area, they play a little aggressive, and it's just a cat and mouse game. This buys time for your heroes to respawn. Crow is like farming jungle so much in this game. It's actually crazy, but it's all good. Again, this is another thing, like, this is what I'll call this, like, how do you draw on the map?
Like, control, and then on the map. You can't do it on the actual game. You can draw on the map and it'll show, I think. Okay.
No, it doesn't work. I don't know how to do it. Anyway, this is what I would call the complexity line, okay? Complexity, this is the line Liquid doesn't cross, but complexity does, okay? This is the death area. As soon as the Abaddon shields, they are immediately backing away. Matumba Man, like, there's the force from the low ground on GH. Matumba Man's turning to hit, because he can't die. Matumba Man cannot die in this draft, but his Wisp and his OD can. So he just kind of guards the choke, and then like, okay, we're out, let's go kill more waves. And even though you have so much tempo and timing that you've already hit with Secret, they can't abuse it. because their waves are always pushed. This is in the tower, this is pushing for Liquid, and you have this huge lone druid. Like you have a Radiance. And this is the timing where Secret really wanted to take that big game-winning team fight into a Roche, or at least into this tier 1 tower. Into either this tower, but more about like the wards. If you kill this tower, place a ward in this area, place a ward over here, suddenly Secret's the one with map control. But
so why didn't Secret, when they got that Radiance, right? And you said, hey, Secret want to just like 5-man down a lane. Like, why did they go to the safe lane instead of just going and barreling down mid? Like, because mid tower is more important, right?
It is, but you can't just all in when your waves are behind against a Wisp team, especially when there's all this team fight, because you're just going to get spammed, and then eventually you're going to overextend, they're going to reload, you're going to die. And in the meantime, there's going to be an IO Tiny just pushing your lanes. And once again, it's the same thing. Liquid, they still have this ward up, so they're just going to play around it. It's missed. They get the sentry, actually. The OD is playing with this Omni the whole game. The IO Tiny are together, and Kuro's just chilling. Finishes the medallion. Just a comment on Liquid's item choice real quick. You have a Hood into an eventual first item pipe on GH. Greaves first item on the Omni Knight, Force Drums on the OD, Tiny going Blink SNYAC, and Medallion on Witch Doctor. So you pretty much have every hero itemizing to not only increase their own kit and their own survivability and strength, but that of the whole team, which is especially important when you're rocking 3 healers and one of them is Wisp, and you have a save mechanic. And this is just overextension. Yapzor is just dead. Matumba Man recognizes he can kill him the entire game. Again, complexity line right here. Right here. We're crossing this sometimes. You don't cross this, okay? Liquid,
Yeah.
They get the force in, boom, some int, 4 int, no problem. We'll take it, back away. Wave pushed, tower dead. See the lone druid here. If they overextend, this lone druid wraps on them. They're taking a bad fight. Instead, once again, the Tiny is the one making himself a threat. He has to go in. He can never die. As long as Tiny is the one causing chaos, there's no problems for Liquid's draft here.
It really does seem like the key word is just like chaos. It seems like Matumba Man, like they're never doing split pushing with tiny things that we would like used to see. Like after that fight at top, I expected them to go bottom, right? Because the bottom lane was pushed in from Secret pushing it earlier. I thought they would just go for it and then farm that out, etc. But he's just like always in their face.
Yep. And also it's like a minor thing, but I like that. I love that Liquid does this. Like they kind of dive too deep here, but they know the lone druid's low. So they reload out the IO Tiny just for like HP, and the plan is to come back and re-engage in about 10 to 15 seconds. And they run right. Instead of running up or getting split, they're playing about as close to the reload as you can. And now they're going to move back left. The GA comes off. It's still really grim. They finger that guy, but now the Tiny's back. He's like, what's up, guys? He's not going for kills necessarily. He's just safeguarding his OD. The tether now on the OD, Matumba Man can just run away, and it saves Miracle here, which is really important. Blink away. Miracle's still nearly dying, but there's the huge stick, and now he's just fine. Actually, he's not fine, but here comes Matumba Man. Once again, there's the Lion. Lion's dead. The reason that kill is so important and this target is what he's gunning for the entire game is because Lion is their only real method of control, and it's the only hero that will die to Tiny combo. And if you kill the Lion, you can now kite and heal for the rest of the fight. Look at this ward, though. Kuro placed that during that whole shenanigan. This ward again, and this ward. So if you look at their vision...
Yeah.
This wave is always pushed because their tier 2 is dead, whereas Liquid's tier 2 is alive. Mind Control immediately TP'd bottom. IO Tiny still playing together. MC just TP'd bottom. This is not a fight. This is literally just, I'm fucking with you right now. And look, we see the Medusa. We see all 3 of these snowballing tanky cores are now all here. And they're on a ward. Mind Control pushed out this bottom wave. Boom, I'm going to run and connect. We want to fight here. This is where our ward is.
So he, in a way, he's just like the greediness of the draft. He's like hurting these heroes that need to be able to farm by forcing them to constantly group up, by constantly being in their face. See the Astral on Puppy. He's going to die. Matumba Man forces the ult. But again, like just look at the spacing and like the game awareness. It's 3 things. It's this Medusa ult and the Abaddon ult. If you can pop those and play around them, kill the Lion, kill the supports, proc the core's ultimates, you're always going to win the fights. So that's what Matumba Man, he's like the OD, he's ignoring. Puppy's dead to Miracle. No problem. He procs the Abaddon ult, and now they're chilling. Puppy didn't die because uphill miss. Good game, Dota 2. Boom, force in.
because the ult is procced, now the Sanities will land the kill. There's now the tether onto Miracle. GH did a wonderful job recognizing who was important to tether. The Maledict comes out on the bear. That shit works. And because they're, again, fighting on Secret's half of the map, there's no pressure in their other lanes, and they're getting towers. That's where this advantage comes from. Now here's the strat pause. This game, I feel like, is just textbook, and they're going to continue to close this out over the next 5 minutes. But I really think the key are that if you look at like Secret Vision right now and their map control, it feels very boxed in. This is pretty much the only safe area of the map. Whereas if you look at Radiant, they feel super good because they can always just push this wave. They have the IO like global factor. And again, because MC was bottom, this wave will slowly but surely go like this, so they don't need to worry about it anymore. This is the only wave they really care about, but the tower is dead, so we'll just see what they do.
I really like he didn't when he went bottom, he didn't actually push that out that much. He just gave it that kind of like light little shove, and then it was like, all right, it's off the tower, it's gonna go forward. I don't need to farm it anymore. He just goes back to his team.
So this is super good by Liquid. They force them back into the base, and then immediately they call lanes. So once again, the OD runs top. He runs top because that's like the safest area of the map for him. You want your OD is like this more versatile mobile hero. You want him in like the far corner, and then you play your IO Tiny trio with the Witch Doctor down here. Omni Knight goes towards top because the OD Omni can live long enough for the relocate, or honestly, they probably just run away. Like, you can't kill OD Omni Knight together. So they're just going to play together, safeguard one another. He's just kind of chilling. Miracle's going to go one more wave. He had vision of this Lone Druid. He sees him mid. He sees the Medusa going like this. He knows there's no threat. I'll go one more wave. Omni's still just kind of floating. Tiny pushed out this bottom wave. And this is the big key here. They're waiting for their timing right now. Miracle's just farming. This wave is going. In the meantime, Witch Doctor's just like chilling mid. That's why Secret can't really push because there's so many. You can't push into like Witch Doctor Omni. You know what I mean? It's asking to die to a cask.
Yeah.
And the reason Liquid slowed it down is because he's so close to this AC, and you're gonna see something that I love and you never really see in Dota 2 nowadays, like executed to this level of perfection. But they're gonna go for this Roche play. They have the vision. In the meantime, Miracle was just farming. The bear is forced to like come top, but it's really just, again, Liquid. We're playing with Liquid's vision, and it still feels like I've got no fog of war. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's very peaceful and relaxing. But I'm gonna just pause the game right now. Look at this, right here. This is beautiful. This is beautiful.
You've literally hit every single item timing.
Every
all
single
at the
item
same
timing.
time.
Wow. And it's minor things, you know. It's treads on the Witch Doctor because he took the damage talent because he's motherfucking Kuro. He's gonna hit somebody. You got AC on the Tiny. MC got a Force Staff. Wisp finished his pipe. OD has a blink. Let's go Roche. If they fight us here, you can't ask for something more favorable. Do you know what I mean? You have vision. You have control of the pit, and they even see them. Like, again, this is literally Liquid's vision, and it feels easy to play the game. That now, again, this is just so important. The AC finished by Lone Druid. What are they going to do? They're going to smoke themselves. That's just how, like, this. These are both good Dota teams. It's just Liquid hit their timing, 30 seconds faster. They smoke out of the pit. They already have the Aegis. GH has this textbook Invis rune. He's going to break the smoke. And again, the complexity move is to do one of these right here. You never run up the high ground, guys, when you're smoked. Never, ever do this. Don't do it. Do the wrap.
Do the wraparound. Take the high ground yourself, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they have vision of this high ground. They know it's safe. But watch how they take this fight. Again, remember, they have to play around Medusa ult. They have to play around a bad ult. They want to kill the supports. And most importantly, they can't have anyone bursted down. They don't want a split fight. So, like, it's one of these hard scenarios where you don't want anyone dying alone, but you also can't, like, group up too much and just tank a Medusa ult into a line stun. So you do these really cool things where, first off, Aegis on the OD. His blink is still on the way, but they don't care. He has Aegis. They're roaring to go. And he's going to get pre-repelled. This means he won't miss, and it means he can't be CC'd. So the sphere doesn't work anymore. Now he's going to go in. He's going to get a free couple of hits. Nice Astral on the bear. This makes space for Matumba Man. What's he going to do?
Is he going to be
More
popping
hits.
the Abaddon again or just killing him?
Nope.
Oh, yeah.
Killing
Kills
the
the
lion.
support.
Finds the lion. Ward placed by Kuro. Maledict on somebody. Medusa ult popped. Everyone run the fuck away. And this is where the game turns. Because they pop the ult. Now we have no fear. Toss back. Dead Medusa. GG.
Jeez.
Can actually watch this fight again because every player has impact and everyone does something important. Everyone understands their job. Miracle, make space, make things happen. Boom. Vision of the Lion acquired, dead. Crow's going to run in. I think he's probably, who's he putting his arm? He's medallioning somebody. Like
I don't
all
know,
fight.
but
I don't know
that
who it
cast
is,
just
but he's
destroyed
using
them.
it. Mm-hmm. And this is like an insane tossback. He would have probably got the Astral into tossback otherwise, but this is prettier and it looks good. But you can see like it just feels good. Like they've used pipe in that fight. They have no real way to lose unless they overextend or just make a bad decision. And again, OD, more intelligence stacks. Astral the Bear again. He has no fear. They tether him. Full health OD. They're just diving Puppy because they can. But the key, Witch Doctor, Omni, still safely positioned. Wisp is a bit deep. They're tanking tier 4s, but it doesn't matter. They're going to come back, catch this wave. Again, the Greaves, the Wisp, full health, full mana on fucking everybody. It's some dumb shit. Current golds. I shouldn't have current golds. Net worth back to that. And again, the Abaddon just seems to be having a very tough time. I don't really blame Fada for it. He didn't have a lane, and there's not much you can do in this sort of game.
I can see what you were talking about the Furion. Like something to be able to push out those waves for you. Something to be able to force Liquid to rotate around.
Yep. They really lacked like this global mobility. Again, look, he has 80 int stacks. I'm sure he got like 40 from diving base. That means Puppy immediately dies upon respawn. There's no bloodlust on the bear. There's no bloodlust on Medusa. His whole hero is done. And they use their spells. Pop the GA just to save the OD Aegis. Now we have a tether on Tiny. The Greaves are up again. We're still healing. We're still here. We're spamming spells, but this Rax is key. Let's make sure we get the Rax, guys. They just hit the bear. OD does no building damage, so he wants to orb anybody that crosses into his domain. He'll blink in. He's going to actually finish the bear here, I believe. Forces out. Another tether. Another heal coming up. I believe that's one bear down. It is.
Yeah.
Yep. One bear down. They know that that bear's dead now. They have 120 seconds with one bear. And that's another timing to consider. It doesn't change Lone Druid's power level necessarily, but he has to play differently because he recognizes if his bear dies, he's going to be fucked. Once again, like immediate double TP out to push the waves. Mid-wave dead. Okay, mid-wave gone. All right, get these other waves going. OD's going to TP in like 4 seconds. He had to backpack. Always have a TP in your backpack if you play core. Otherwise, you're just bad. Sorry. Always have a TP. Omni goes bottom. Pushes out this wave. OD top. Crow's chilling. Hey, guys, there's a haste turn. Life of a 5. Once again, sick ward. This ward was sick too. This is what sniffed out the smoke originally. And again, we can even go back to Liquid's vision. They know the entire team is here. There's the Lone Druid. Still playing these nice tricores. OD's just chilling. He has Aegis. He can't really die. They pushed out this wave. Now you want to regroup. They see a threat on mid coming. They want to keep this tower alive because this gives them like that's what's giving them this map control for free. Like this whole area of the map is theirs just because of these towers linked to the shrine.
Yeah.
IOTPs to be behind Tiny. Witch Doctor OD just farming over here. They're just making sure like the waves are good. So now this wave is pushed. They really can only respond to one because of the nature of their draft. Secret has no global mobility. This is covered by wards. So as soon as they pushed out this wave, they set up this window where in 30 seconds they can just go here like this, which is exactly what they're doing. They don't care about top anymore. This wave, this doesn't matter. OD got it out to here. Now they have time to do whatever they want because they're ahead. And if they were ahead on this original push where they were trading tier 1s, now they're again like 30 seconds ahead on their push.
Right. So even if they go for that tier 1, it's like, all right,
yep.
You can take that tier 1, we're going to take your tier 2. You go tier 2, we're hitting tier 3.
Yep. Yeah, and look, there's the Lone Druid, but it doesn't matter. They're already on the tier 3. They have a Tiny, like they don't fear this rat stuff. Like it doesn't matter. Now they're going to look to push. Same concept. They still recognize how they need to fight. I believe there's still only this one bear for some time. I'm going to put off Fog. Second bear is coming up now. Again, just using the spells. Use the repel, use the heal, use the Greaves, use the stun. Always use your spells. There's no reason to hold them. Like, you're never going to get that perfect fight, but they force them all back to base. They lost tier 2, but they just don't really care. Now they get this shrine for free, and they can just chill. They still have this Aegis, so they want to use it, but now they have these 2 waves in, and they force the entire secret lineup back to base, which is what they wanted. Aegis fades, but once again, let's check out current gold. Everyone's spending it. Demon Edge on the Tiny. Omni has a Blink now. Kuro's got a Solar Crest. Shiva's finished on the OD. And even though, like, they've been controlling the tempo of this game, I don't think they were ever really trying to end it until they got this next item timing. And they get it. They get this Illusion Rune on Tiny. Oh, come on, Matumba, man. You're making me look bad. Oh, he's saving it for Wisp. Okay, that's fine. Matumba's going to once again do this. OD, Witch Doctor, Omni. You can't really fuck with them. The Omni can play like way the fuck back here. As we discussed, there's no actual initiation. There's no blink on the Lion. So OD literally can't die. They have to get onto the supports in the back. And by just literally farming around his wards, he prevents that. Tiny's going to push this wave out again. They're going to look to, I'm just going to fast forward a bit. Oh, sorry, missing the reload. So again, like they can play in so many places. The OD is still bottom. Tiny's going to continue to push here. But this ward and this ward still set up and give them kill control in these areas. So they see this Abaddon in advance, and they're pinging him. Miracle's pinging the shit out of him. We don't care about this Lone Druid. He's just going in. Force in. Astral. Hit this guy. Hit this guy. Hit this guy. Kill this guy. Puppy dead. Everybody dead. Dead Lion. This wave's still pushing. Io goes back by himself. Triple kill for Miracle. Buyback on Lone Druid. There's the Medusa ult immediately imprisoned. Let's run away, even though there's 3 dead. Now we can just chill. Now we hit the racks. GG.
GG. Damn, that was very pretty.
Right?
Like the way you set up that analysis, that just made Liquid look so fucking good.
And it still doesn't really matter because in the next 2 games they got outdrafted, so they lost. The end. Just like minor things, like even GH, like after he goes back, he's not just wasting his time. He's not running to join his team in a panic. He's just like, I'll tether my own illusion for speed.
So I can push it out top some more. Yeah.
Yep. And this is just to continue their window, you know? Now they can just go top immediately with the safety of a creep wave. It doesn't really matter at this point, to be honest, but the Wisp is just in here. Now they see the Medusa. Like, this just gives vision. Now the OD's in. He's repelled again. Maledict the Bear. Again, they still have to play somewhat safe because this Medusa just pumps out damage. They just keep messing with him. OD's going to keep stealing in. One gets repelled. One usually gets tethered. But it's pretty much all on Miracle. Just keep him alive. Matumba Man will live just because of the nature of his hero.
Do you want to talk about Game 2 and Game 3's draft?
Yeah, sure. That's what I want to just. This last fight, I think, is pretty simple, but it's just discipline. You know, complexity. Maybe we throw this game by running in here and feeding, but they're just chilling. They will get a shrine.
Take the other shrine. Yeah. There's gold on the map, right? Might as well get your items and
gold,
shit.
There's gold to spend. A Vlad's picked up on the Omni Knight. Like, it's fucking beautiful, dude.
Yeah.
Everyone's using their gold. Everyone's increasing the power of their team. And, like, now they're just fine. Matumba Man's going to go cut this wave now. He's going to farm first because he's greedy. Carry players, SMH. He'll cut this wave eventually, right? Okay, he's just going to grab an Invis rune. You don't really need to cut it now because there's mega creeps.
Yeah,
not mega,
super.
Super creeps. Data, and again, just the keys. Daedalus was just finished. What's Witch Doctor got? Witch Doctor, nothing new, but he doesn't really matter. The Vlad's on the Omni. OD finished in MKB. So they're just continuing to spend their gold. They get these fight wins. They get these objectives. And then they buy, they spend, and they look to go again. And they just make sure they have advantageous fights utilizing their vision. Kuro's going to place a ward. They're still smoked. They get an easy initiation. Look, it's Lion. He's dead again. Fight's over. And this is a repelled OD just killing everyone. He has ult. That's 2 dead.
No
Clinical.
Control. You can't deal with Wisp. You can't deal with Omni.
Yep. I think that was 4 fights. I saw Matumba Man kill the Wisp.
Yep.
Or, sorry, the
And
Lion.
The Lion
immediately.
start, yeah.
Medusa ult was never a factor. Abaddon ult was never a factor. They never took fights with like too much gold in their pocket. Like, it's just that's why they won TI, guys. The end. It's fun to watch, right?